Good morning, all of you. So, in the previous class, we discussed about the basic concepts of the network analysis and transmission lines. In order to understand the network analysis in a better way, we have discussed what are the basic requirements that you should know. So, we discussed the basic elements like what is resistor, what is resistance, what is the unit for resistance, then Ohm's law. Then we discussed about Kirchhoff's law. There are two types of Kirchhoff's laws. One is Kirchhoff's current law and another one is Kirchhoff's voltage law. And as we know that Kirchhoff's current law is basically dealt with nodes, and Kirchhoff's voltage law we use when we go for mesh or node loop analysis. So then we discussed about different types of sources like independent sources and then dependent sources. So how do we represent an independent source and how do we represent a dependent source? Again, we have seen that in the dependent sources there are four different types are available. Apart from that, we discussed about if various elements are connected in series combination and parallel combination, how do we find the equivalent resistance of all the elements when they are connected in series or parallel combination. Apart from that, we also discussed about two basic rules that we normally use while solving the networks. That is, one is known as voltage division rule and another one is known as current division rule. So voltage division rule is basically used when we connect all the elements in the series combination, whereas current division rule is used when all the elements are connected in parallel. So special case of current division rule also we have discussed in the previous section, like when two resistors are connected in parallel, how do we apply current division rule? Apart from that, we have also discussed the concept of open circuit and short circuit. So we have seen the condition for open circuit and short circuit also. When we discussed about open circuit, we have seen that the current flowing through the open circuit is zero, then that indicates that the resistance of an open circuit is infinite. In a similar way, under short circuit condition, we have seen that when element is connected in short circuit, the voltage across the element will become zero and resistance will become zero. So the current through the circuit will be infinite. So these are the basic concepts that we must know in order to understand the network topology in a better manner. So today we will start with network topology. So before we start with the network topology, let us understand what are the topics which we are going to discuss in network topology. So coming to network topology, we are going to discuss about the basic cut set and tie set matrix for planar networks. So what is cut set and what is tie set? It is similar to what we have you have already studied in basics of electrical engineering about mesh analysis and node analysis. Then coming to magnetic circuits, then self and mutual inductances, then dot convention, impedance reactance concept with respect to magnetic circuits, then impedance transformation and coupled circuits, coefficient of coupling, then equivalent T for magnetically coupled circuit, and the last topic that we discuss is about the ideal transformer. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss in network topology. Now, first we will start with network topology. So first of all, before we start learning what is network topology, what is cut set and what is tie set methods of network topology, you need to understand why do we study network topology, what is it we are going to study in the network topology, and where this network topology concept is being implemented. So let us first understand what is network topology. So basically the network topology is nothing but it is a representation of your network with a line concept. So network topology, that means all the elements which are connected in the circuit will be replaced by a single line irrespective of what type of component it is. That means when you replace your circuit with a network topology, then you cannot make any distinction that which particular branch consists of what type of element. That is what is a network topology. Now coming to why do we study network topology? So as you have already studied various concepts of solving the network in basic electrical engineering. So there are so many methods of solving any electrical network. So we can solve any network using a mesh analysis. We can solve it using Kirchhoff's law, that is KCL and KVL. We can solve the network using node analysis. We can solve the network using theorems. So there are so many methods you have already studied. Now you may get a question that why I need to study network topology, because network topology is nothing but it is also the same concept which we have used in mesh analysis and node analysis. But why do we study network topology? So when we go for a bigger networks where there is a combination of different types of elements like resistor, inductor, capacitor with current source, voltage sources, when we have a complicated circuit, then analysis of such complicated networks will become difficult when we do it using KCL, KVL, mesh analysis and node analysis. In order to simplify the simplification of a complicated network, we use network topology. That means network topology helps us in simplifying the complicated networks and we can analyze the network in a simple manner. That is the reason why we need to study network topology. Next, where. What is where here is, where do we apply network topology concept? So again, the network topology concept is applicable when we deal with complicated networks. Instead of solving them using network theorems or Kirchhoff's laws or mesh analysis and node analysis, we prefer solving the network using network topology. So as we proceed with the class, then you yourself will understand that how simple solving a network with the help of network topology concept. Now, so the basic definitions in network topology are same whatever we have discussed in the basic concepts. So in order to understand network topology in a better way, you need to know all these topics, or you need to be thorough in a circuit. How do you identify the total number of nodes in the circuit? Then how many essential nodes are required? Then how many branches are there in the circuit? Then how many loops are there in the circuit? Then how many mesh are there in the circuit? Then you are going to learn a new topic with respect to network topology, and entire circuit concept depends on this, that we call it as a graph. So what is graph? That we'll discuss in detail when we further go with the network topology. Now, coming to basic definition associated with the graph. So what are the things that you are going to learn in network topology before you start analyzing the circuit? So the first thing that you use here is graph and oriented graph. So you should know how to draw the graph, and then you should know what is the difference between a graph and a oriented graph. Then what is the rank of the graph? Then what are planar and non-planar graphs? Then what is path and what is subgraph? Then you should know what is tree and twigs, and then co-tree and links. So these are the terms which are associated with network topology. In order to understand the network topology and in order to solve a network using network topology concept, these are the terms that you need to remember, and these are the terms which we'll be using frequently while solving the network using network topology concept. Now let us try to understand each term associated with network topology one by one. So let us first define what is graph. So graph here is nothing but it is corresponding to a given network and which is obtained by replacing all the circuit elements with a line. So please remember that network graph is nothing but It is a replacement of all the elements in the circuit with a simple line. As I already told you that the purpose of using a network topology, what is network topology is here. The network topology is nothing but once you start solving a network with network topology concept, you cannot distinguish what type of elements are connected in the circuit till the end of solving the circuit. So that is what is the first step which leads to this is a graph. So what you would do in the graph is, for example, if you consider any circuit, it is a combination of resistor, inductor, capacitor, then voltage source, current source, and then switch. So all these network elements will be replaced with a line that we call it as a graph. So when I replace all the elements with a simple line, then by looking at the graph, we may not be in a position to tell that in which line what type of element is connected. So that is what is the speciality of a network graph. Now coming to rank of a graph. So in order to know what is a rank of a graph, first of all, by looking at the circuit, you should be in a position to identify the network consists of how many number of nodes. So what is rank of a graph? So rank of a graph is nothing but if there are n nodes in a graph. For example, you take any example and you know how to identify the node. So how do you identify node? Node is nothing but it is a common point to which different branches are connected. Such nodes you need to identify in a given circuit. So once you identify the total number of nodes in the graph, then rank of the graph is given by n minus 1. That is total number of nodes minus 1 will give you the rank of a graph. Now coming to oriented graph. Now you have to understand the difference between a graph and a oriented graph. What is the difference? So what happens normally by solving the network here is, first step, depending upon the given network and the number of voltage sources and current sources, the first step what you have to do here is, you have to assume the direction of all the branch currents in the network. So when you identify and indicate the number of branch currents in the given network, then you replace all the branches with showing the direction of the currents flowing through the circuit. Then you draw a graph. Such graph we call it as oriented graph. The difference between a graph and a oriented graph here is, in graph we never consider the direction of the branch currents flowing through the network, whereas when coming to oriented graph, you need to even mark the direction of the branch currents in the graph. Such graphs which shows an direction of branch currents in the network with an arrow mark, that we call it as oriented graph. I hope it is clear to everyone, like what is the difference between a graph and a oriented graph. Now coming to the steps that we use to draw the oriented graph. So let us understand, this is very important because this is the first step that we follow in network topology. Okay, so now what are the steps involved in drawing the oriented graph? So the first step what you do here is replace. Please listen carefully. Replace all the resistors, inductors and capacitors by the line segment. So first, in a given network, you have to see that what are the different types of elements are connected. It's not compulsory that every circuit should have the combination of resistor, inductor, capacitors. Sometimes the circuit can be a pure resistive circuit. Sometimes it can be a combination of resistors and inductors. Sometimes it will be a combination of resistor, inductor and capacitor. So whatever may be this network, the first step that you follow is all the resistors, inductors and capacitors in the circuit or network is to be replaced by a simple line segment. Next, second step. In the step 2, replace, this is very important, replace all the voltage sources in the network by short circuit. That means it has to be replaced with a line. Whereas the current sources in the networks have to be replaced by open circuit. This is very important, because when you have a current source, it is always connected in parallel. So that means that we already discussed that when current sources are connected in parallel, the voltage across all the elements will remain same. That is the reason why the current sources will be replaced with open circuit. That means that branch will not exist. Okay. Then coming to step 3. In step 3, we have to assume the direction of the branch current. So you can assume any direction of the branch current depending upon the voltage source, or we can assume according to our own convenience. Then the fourth condition here is to draw the oriented graph is name all the nodes and branches. So sometimes normally we use a convention that all the nodes we can name with alphabets and all the branches we can name with numbers. Or you can do in an opposite way also. All the nodes you can name with numbers and all the branches you can name with alphabets. Both ways we can follow, but never follow the same condition like branches and nodes you name with only alphabets and branches and nodes you name with alphabets, because this always leads to confusion. So either of the condition you follow, name the nodes with alphabets and branches with numbers, or name the branches with alphabets and nodes with numbers. So please remember this concept. That will be easy for us to identify what are branches and what are nodes. Now let us take an example here. So I am taking a simple network here. If you look at this network is a combination of resistors, inductors, capacitors, and then a voltage source. So if you see in this network, there is no current source. Okay. So this is a voltage source. Then you have this 1, 2, 3 as resistors. This is your inductor and this is your capacitor. So when you look at this particular network, the first thing before you draw a graph, what we need to do here is we have to identify the total number of nodes in the given network. So if I look at this network, there are 1, 2, 3 and 4 nodes are there, to which different branches are connected. So you identify the nodes here. So let us mark the nodes. After marking the nodes, according to this particular voltage source, let us assume the branch current direction. So I will start from this voltage source as I1. Then once it comes to this first node, it gets divided between this branch and this branch. So you name them as I2 and I3. Then this I2, once it comes to this node, it divides between this and this. Then similarly, when it comes to this node, it divides between this branch and that branch. So normally you assume all the branch currents according to your convenience. There is no restriction that why I should assume the direction of the branch current in this way only. It is your wish. Completely it is your choice how you want to assume. You can assume in that particular direction. Now once you identify the nodes and the branches and then branch currents in the given network, now we'll see how to draw the graph. So in order to draw the graph, first thing what you have to do is mark all the nodes individually. So we have 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then after this, you see that all the elements which are connected between any 2 nodes have to be replaced with a line. But before you do that, you have to always follow the condition. What is the condition that we have is all the branch elements, that is resistor, inductor and capacitor, has to be replaced with a line. Voltage source has to be replaced with a short circuit and current source has to be replaced with open circuit. So if you see here between first and the fourth node, there is a voltage source, so it has to be replaced with a line. Similarly, between second and fourth node, there is a capacitor, it has to be replaced with a line. Similarly, with the respect to first and second node, there is a resistor which has to be replaced with a line. Then between second and third node, there is a resistor. This has to be replaced with a line. Now coming to this first to third node, there is an inductor which has to be replaced with a line. Similarly, between third and fourth node, there is a resistor which has to be replaced with a line. So this is a simple graph. So if you look at the graph, I have not indicated any direction of the branch currents on this. That's why it is known as a graph. Now let us see what is oriented graph or a directed graph. So oriented graph is nothing but, as I already explained you in the previous slide, that oriented graph is nothing but it has to be marked with branch currents and directions. If you see that we have marked the directions of the branch currents in the directed graph or oriented graph. So this will be exact replica of the graph, but the difference between both of them you can see here is, here we have the directions of the branch currents which you don't find in the graph. So the same graph can be represented topologically with different forms, because few students may opt for drawing it in a different manner. So you can get any type, any shape for the graph, so nothing to worry, all are correct. But make sure that when you draw the graph, you cover the complete elements which are present in the network should be present in your graph. If you miss any one of them, then finally your answers will be wrong, right? So now, so for this given circuit, let us identify the number of nodes, branches, and then assume the branch currents, and let us try to draw the graph for this following circuit. So if you look at this particular given example here, this circuit consists of all the elements in the circuit. It has a voltage source, it has a capacitor, it has an inductor, it has a resistor, and it has current source also. So if you draw the graph for this, so you have to be very careful now because it has a current source. So first you have to identify the nodes here. So this is 1, 2, 3 and then 4. There are total 4 nodes are there. Then first, before we draw the graph, let us assume the branch currents flowing through this. So branch currents we are assuming here the current flowing from this voltage source as 1. Then once it comes, it divides between this branch and this branch. So similarly you assume the branch currents. After that you know how to draw the graph. So all of you, let us try how to draw the graph for this particular diagram. Okay. Now let us come to our next topic, which is planar and non-planar graph. So planar and non-planar graph, most probably we may not use in the circuit analysis, but still you should know what is planar graph and what is non-planar graph. So coming to a planar graph. So planar graph is nothing but it is drawn on a two-dimensional plane and is said to be planar if, the condition please listen carefully, if two branches means this is one branch, this is another branch, two branches do not intersect or cross at a point which is other than a node. So any two branches should not overlap or should not cross at each other. Such graphs we call them as a planar graph. If you look at non-planar graph is also drawn on a two-dimensional plane and is said to be planar if two branches intersect or cross at a point which is other than a node. So if you see here in this example, this one branch is crossing this branch. Such graphs we call them as a non-planar graphs. So this is for your understanding. Only we are talking about planar and non-planar graph. There is no much significance of planar and non-planar graphs while analyzing the circuit. Now, next let us understand the definition of path and a subgraph. So what is path now? So path is nothing but it is a set of elements that may be traversed in order without passing through the same node twice. So path is nothing but it is a set of elements that may be traversed in order without passing through the same node twice. Such path, such way where we don't find the nodes coming branches and nodes of a graph, and it is a proper subgraph if it contains branches and nodes less than those on a graph. So a subgraph can be just a node or only one branch of the graph. So example for path and subgraph you can see here. This is our graph. From this graph, so see here, this from this point to this point, this can make a path because the nodes are not repeating twice. Now similarly from this point to this point, you can name it as a path. Okay. Whereas subgraph is nothing but it can be any graph which can be a single branch also. So you can see here the second figure, you can see this shows a graph. So path and subgraph we are not going to consider even while analyzing the network. This is only for your understanding. Okay, now coming to tree and twigs of a graph. This is important. So what is tree and what is twig? So trees are important. From graph, the next step we do is a tree. So what is tree, that we have to understand. So tree is nothing but a connected subgraph. Please listen carefully. It should be a connected subgraph having all the nodes of a graph without any loop is called a tree. That means, what is loop? We have already discussed in the basic concepts. Loop is nothing but it should be a closed path. So in order to understand a tree, first you have to know that in a given network graph, how many loops are existing. From that, you have to make it open loop. It is a closed loop. That closed loop, you have to make it open. So, for example, let us consider this graph. In this graph, now you already know how to identify the nodes and branches from this graph. Now let us see that how many loops are there. So if I look at this particular network graph, there are 3 loops are there in this. This is first loop, this is second loop, and this is a third loop. Loop should be a closed path, and as we know that in a loop, 2 nodes should not repeat. The same node should not repeat while considering the loop. So there are 3 inside loops are present in this network graph. So in order to draw the tree, what you have to do here is the closed loop has to be made open. Okay, so this is one loop. If I consider the 3 branches are associated with this. So from these 3 branches, what will I do is I will remove one branch. Then this loop will become open. Similarly, coming to this loop, there are 3 branches associated with it. Remove one branch, then you'll get another part of a tree. Then coming to the third loop, there are 3 branches associated with it. So remove one particular branch from it, then you are going to get another part of a tree. So from that concept, if you draw the tree, this is how it looks. So what it indicates here is, please remember that a single network graph or a oriented graph will have many number of trees. There is not only one tree. A graph can have n number of trees. It depends on the student that which type of branch, which branch you want to remove from a loop. So based on that, for one network graph, you get n number of trees. And you always while solving the problem, you have to draw all possible trees for this particular network graph. Okay, so that is a tree. What is tree? You please remember that tree is nothing but it is a connected subgraph, and where in a given network graph you are making a loop, closed loop as an open loop by removing any one of the branch which is associated with that loop. Okay. Now, what we have done is, in every loop we have removed one branch. So we got one tree. The branch which you have removed from that tree, we call that as a twig. What is twig? Twig is nothing but it is that branch of the network graph which we have removed in order to make it as a open loop. Such branch in a tree we call it as a twig. Now, coming to properties of a tree. So tree is very important. From tree itself we will draw trie set and cut set schedules. Okay, tree is important. So first property of a tree. There exists only one path between any pair of nodes in a tree. Please remember that. Between any two nodes in a given tree, there exists only one path. That means why we are saying one path? Because every loop we have made it open. So when you make every loop open, then this is your graph that you are getting. This is a tree that you are getting from that graph. So if you see here from this node to this node, there exists only one path. From this node to this node, there exists only one path. From this node to this node, there exists only one path. That means you need to draw a tree such that between any two nodes, there exists only one path. Then coming to the second property of a tree. A tree contains all nodes of the graph. Remember, this is very, very important. While drawing the tree, the number of nodes should not be reduced. The number of nodes in the tree should be equal to the number of nodes which are present in your graph. Then, if n is the number of nodes of the graph, there are n minus 1 branches in the tree. This is important. It is just for your sake to understand whether you have drawn a correct tree or not. So in order to check that, what you have to do is, if there are n number of trees are there, then the number of branches will be always n minus 1. So let us check with this example. In this case, there are 4 nodes are there. So 4 minus 1, how many branches I should get? 3. So if you see this network tree, this is one branch, this is second branch, and this is third branch. It is just for your understanding to check whether you have drawn a correct tree or not. Then coming to the fourth property, tree do not contain any loops. This is very, very important. As I already told you that the process of drawing a tree is to make a closed loop as open. That is why when you look at the tree, your tree will not have any closed loop. So every connected graph has at least one tree. So every connected graph has at least one tree. So every connected graph, that means as I told you that every graph will have minimum one tree. Maximum, it depends. So if every connected graph will have more than one tree. So these are the properties of the tree that you have to remember in order to understand the tree concept clearly. Now, relation between node, link, and then branches. So this we'll discuss. Before that, we'll discuss about what is link. Okay. Right. So let us talk about the cotree and links of a graph. So what is link, that you have to understand. So link is also known as a chord. There are two different names are there for that. So link is nothing but it is the branch that is removed from the graph while drawing a tree. That branch we call it as a link. Okay. So link is nothing but it is a links are complement of peaks. That is nothing but, for example, I will show you how to draw the links here. Okay, now see here. This is one network graph we have, and as we know that every network graph has n number of trees. So in the order of making a tree here, every closed loop has to be made it open. Now for example, if I take here this first loop which consists of A, C and D as the branches, in order to make this open, I am removing C. Now what do we call this C? C we call it as basically a twig. Twig is nothing but it is a branch in a tree which we are removing to make a closed loop as a open loop. But after removing this twig from the network, again I will replace this with the dotted lines, not with a solid line. I will replace this branch C with a dotted line, that we call it as a link. I hope it is clear to everyone what is the difference between a branch and a link. Branch is always represented with a solid line and link is always represented with a dotted line. So dotted line represents a link which are replacing again back in order to make that open loop as closed loop. So such term we call it as a link. So let us come back to this slide again later. So I'll go back. Okay, now I hope you understood what is link. Link is nothing but it is that portion of your tree which I have replaced, which I have removed actually in order to make it a open loop from a closed loop, which we call it as a twig. But now I am replacing back that particular branch with a dotted line, that we call it as a link. Okay, now what is co-tree? The graph constituted with link is known as a co-tree. Now I think you have understood the difference between a branch, tree, co-tree and a link. For example, if you consider this graph now, the first figure which you see here, this we call it as a graph. Then in this graph, from this 1, 2 and 3 loops, I am removing one particular branch, so that will become a tree. After removing a branch from the tree, the branch which you have removed, we call it as a twig. But later what I am doing, that branch which is being removed is being again replaced by a dotted line, that we call it as a link. With that link and branches, when you redraw the network, it will look like this. Okay, such network or such network which is a combination of branches and links, we call it as a co-tree. I hope you understand the difference between a co-tree and then tree. Tree does not have any closed loops, whereas co-tree has a closed loop. But the difference here is your co-tree will be a combination of branches and links, where branches are represented with solid lines and links are represented with the dotted lines. So in this graph, I have removed C, so this becomes open loop. Then coming to the second loop, we have B, D and E. I have removed E from it, so this has become open. Now the third loop is E and F. E already I have considered it for the second loop, therefore I am taking F as a link. So I am removing F also. So when I remove this, then your network will be A, B and then D. So whereas C, E and F I have removed from the network. So that is a tree. Now from this tree I am again replacing all these removed branches with a dotted line, that becomes a link. So that you see here as a link. Now this combination of branches with links, we call it as a co-tree. Now let us identify the twigs of the tree and the links of the co-tree. Now twigs is nothing but the solid lines, whereas links are nothing but the dotted lines. So for this given network, if I see the twigs of the tree, what are my twigs of the tree here? It is A, B and D, which are represented with a solid line. Whereas links of the co-tree will become C, E and F. Similarly, the same network can have a different tree also. So for that, if you see here, what are the twigs in this case? The twigs will be A, D and F, whereas the links will be B, C and E. So depending upon what type of tree you are going to consider, the number of twigs and the links will change. So today we have discussed the basic definitions which are involved with network topology. So you have to be very thorough with how do we draw the network graph, what is oriented graph. Before that you should be in a position to identify the number of nodes and branches in the circuit, what are the different elements are connected in the circuit, and how do we replace the elements while drawing the graph. From that graph, how do you draw the tree? From the tree, how do you draw the co-tree? So you should be in a position to identify all of them. So next class we will discuss about the few more concepts which are related with network topology, that is how do we analyze the network from this core tree and how do we solve the networks based on tie set and cut set